Hey, we're the Flick Chicks. I'm Ann.
And I'm Monica, and this is the episode where we kind of forgot how to make podcasts. It's been a while. We took an extended break.
Yes, we did.
I didn't even test my audio. I just realized it's just been a mess. It's just a kind of a mess over here. It's been a while since we had an episode. We took a long break for the holidays. I don't even remember when our last episode was.
December. That's literally all.
What was our last episode anyway?
I think. Ooh, I don't even know. Let me.
we should know.
I know this is bad. I feel like we did. It wasn't Netflix. It wasn't Netflix. It was Netflix. I think it was Netflix.
Yeah, we were talking about Netflix in quarantine.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, it was only fitting that we come back from our break with one of our my favorite series. I don't know about you, but I like this series a lot. Yeah. Classics we've never seen. Mm-hmm. So we're back.
Yeah,
and cool. What is our movie today, Anne?
Our movie is if you've ever been to a t-shirt shop, I don't know why I said that. It's Pulp Fiction. If you've ever walked into any like teen store, you've definitely seen like a t-shirt with the like cover on it, of course. At least that's how I knew it. But yeah. Mm-hmm. I
think like everyone's seen the movie poster for it at least, or like if they see it, they'll recognize it.
They'll be like, "Oh, I've seen it."
But this is our second Tarantino movie.
It is. That's what I'm realizing.
Later, but this is considered his best.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
It's considered one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We'll discuss that later. But yeah, it's considered his, and I quote, masterpiece of a movie.
Wow.
More so than like Kill Bill. So.
Oh, I didn't know
he only has
that.
like 10 movies or something. So.
I don't know why I keep mixing him up with Inception guy. What's his name? You know him.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher
Nolan would never.
I know, but I just feel like every like really big director, I kind of just like mix up their movies. Yeah. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I'll be like,
it's like Christopher Nolan and this other guy. I can't remember his name right now, but
yeah,
maybe it's another Christopher. I don't know. Just another white dude.
Yeah,
director.
I don't know. Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino.
That's what
is it him? Okay.
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg, Quentin Tarantino, and Christopher Nolan are the three directors I hear about like all the time, like just like buzz like directors that people talk about. So if you were to throw movies at now, I'm better. But if you would have thrown movies at me and said like who's this, then I would have been like or Wes Anderson. Those are the four I hear about like all the time.
Oh, yeah, Wes Anderson. The only one that I can recognize is Christopher Nolan, mostly because I'm like a particular fan of his work. I like his movies a lot.
I know Steven Spielberg because like he did Jaws, right? And like those. Yeah,
Steven Spielberg does a lot of like those blockbusters. See, I'll tell you how to recognize them. Steven Spielberg does those like huge, big budget blockbusters. Like he did Jurassic Park, right? Like,
yeah, he did.
Jaws
E.T. Yeah, he did a lot of iconic like movies that people
Christopher Nolan makes movies that have to do with like time, whether it's like time travel or like bending the time. So there's like Inception, Interstellar. Yeah, Tenet that just came out, Memento, all of those type of things.
Yes.
And when Quentin Tarantino makes those kind of like grungy sort of type of artsy, trying to be artsy, like it's like artsy movies with like really big actors in it.
Yeah, Spielberg actually has a really extensive catalog.
Repertoire.
Yeah,
because my type of movies, but it's a good
because he has The Color Purple. That's like a huge like movie that people talk about. Minority Report, Indiana Jones, Tintin.
Indiana Jones, yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, he does like those big action blockbuster sci-fi type.
Yes. People take him. Saving Private Ryan
does those like really like confusing movies. Basically.
Yeah, he does. He does like crazy stuff. No, good for him though. Spielberg and Nolan. Tarantino though,
we'll talk about my feelings on Tarantino later, but so this is our second Tarantino movie. We already did an episode on Kill Bill Volume 1. We did not do Volume 2 because we couldn't be asked to watch it.
But actually for people who listened to that episode, we looked up, we didn't want to actually watch the other movie, but we looked up the plot, and then a lot of people were talking about how they wanted Zendaya to play the little girl who was ripped apart apparently in this movie. I just don't even, she got like the worst scenario ever. Anyways, I'm for that because I want revenge for her, because I think
that would be a good sequel if they wanted
that would. I'm in support of that, even though I have not seen the rest. But let's talk about why we haven't seen Pulp Fiction.
Again, I'm not so Quentin Tarantino's movies in general have never really appealed to me. Not that I specifically knew they were him, but just like, I don't know. First of all, the movie is long. It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah, baby. It's crazy.
Fairly long for a
I
movie.
thought that was like a new thing. Like, you know how movies now, like every movie is 2 hours? I was like, oh, this is like a new thing. Like movies used to be, apparently not. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like look at these movies. Jeez.
Yeah, so it's really long. And also I knew vaguely that it was about like crime. And crime movies aren't really my type of thing, where it's like mob bosses and like stuff like that. So that's why I haven't watched it.
I went in totally blind. This movie was made in 1994. I was not born in 1994. I was born in 1999. So obviously I not watched the movie. I actually asked my dad if he's watched it, and he's like, oh, I've heard of it, but he's never watched it. So I think it is kind of like still, even though it's very popular, I think it's still a niche. Even that being said, I think it's a niche, as in like people who really enjoy film tend to like it. Like that's
it's definitely one of those where it's like a lot of people know about it, but I feel like it's not a lot of people actually watch it. You know,
it's like a little bit like I don't want to say pretentious, but it's like, you know, people who are I watch movies would have watched it, versus like something like, you know, we watch Back to the Future. That's something like a lot of people.
It's more like accessible,
mainstream, exactly. Yeah. So but no, I had no idea what this movie was about. I
didn't know the plot at all. I just knew it had to do with crime, and I knew that like I knew the actors. I knew John Travolta was in it, and I knew because I've seen people like. This is very like kind of off topic, but I've seen like a music video that referenced a scene in it where they recreated a scene from it. So I knew there was a dance scene in it, but I didn't know what the context behind it was.
I see. No, I knew absolutely nothing. Didn't even realize that Uma Thurman was in it. I was a dummy. I didn't even recognize her,
even though she's the cover picture.
Yes, I literally did not. You couldn't tell me anything. I knew Samuel L. Jackson was in it and stuff. Oh, also. Yeah. I was pretty excited though, because I looked up the cast list and I saw Christopher Walken and John Travolta in the same movie, and they were also in Hairspray, which is a masterpiece. Unlike this movie.
Yes.
So
and also, I realized while I was watching the movie that I've seen like a meme from it. You know, the part where John Travolta's like in Uma Thurman's character's house, and she's like talking to him on the intercom, and he doesn't know where she is, and he's like looking around.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that? Like,
no, I haven't seen that
made out of it.
No,
it's basically like he just looks around and he's kind of like, "What?" And it's kind of like made as a meme. Like, it was like, "Who are you talking to?" Like, type of
wow,
thing.
That's funny. No, I do
it's
not.
Really funny.
I'm not really good with memes. I need to, get with the culture. But
I think if you look up John Travolta reaction
meme
picture or something or meme, you'll find it. Yes. But anyways, I saw that part and I was like, "Oh, that's where it's from."
That is
so
where
now
it's
I understand.
From. Yeah, I know. Basically, this series is just for us to be even more versed into pop culture. It's no reason at all other than that to me to get into, especially for me at least. My parents are immigrants, so they haven't, and they immigrated later, I guess, because if you immigrate earlier, you might be versed into it, but they don't. They aren't really versed into, like, let's say, mainstream Western culture. So a lot of things that people would be like, "You see that?" I literally, I'm like, no, I had to watch that like on my own time. Out of my own
exactly.
will.
My dad is like he's like an action movie type of person, so he knows a lot of them, but like I don't think I watched the first. I had to watch this in 2 sittings, so I watched the first sitting with him, and then I watched the second sitting alone because I'll get into it later. It was a struggle to get through. Yeah, that's why we haven't watched it. So now we can talk about what we thought about the movie.
We'll talk about things.
So I guess we start with what we like.
Yes, because spoiler, there's not a lot.
You can go first.
I'm just gonna say this right now. This is the first time I've watched one of these movies and I had no notes because I didn't even know what to do with it. Like, I was like, so what did I like?
I was gonna say the acting. The actors did a good job.
Yes, I like the actors. It's a star-studded cast for sure. Bruce Willis, John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Chris Watkins, blah blah blah. Lots of really popular people.
Willis,
freaking Tarantino himself. He's like,
don't even get me started.
He's the guy who likes to drop certain slurs. And I just I liked it was well filmed. Can I say that? I think
the cinematography I think, like, was fine. Nothing special, but it was fine.
Because in 1994, like, let's say I couldn't 100% tell that it was like 100% in 1994. I don't know how to say that, but like I feel like, for example, The Matrix was very clearly like, oh, this is an old movie. This, it's like an old movie because of like how they're like certain things, but it's not actually the style of the movie that makes me go like, oh, like, sorry, the style of the cinematography that makes me go, oh, this is an old movie. Right. It's more like the references and stuff. So that's what I mean by like, it's actually pretty good in that way.
I like the set like type of thing. It's set in like California, so it's a very like sunny.
Yeah.
Like usually these movies tend to be very like dark and like stormy or whatever, but this one there's a lot of sun, which was nice.
Yeah. And I'll give it, this is where I'm probably going to contradict what I'm saying right now in the next part, but it's like, I don't want to say enjoy, I respect, I guess, the idea of like dialogue, you know. I do like people talking in movies. Like I think that's I think that's something I usually don't like about action movies, is that like there isn't talking. Like I hate when it's just like action, and I'm like, what's happening? But then at the same time, they kind of went too far with that. But I did enjoy that it wasn't 100% like just a bunch of action stuff happening. There was some dialogue.
Yeah, I'll say like the action-y scenes were fine. You know, exciting.
They weren't too long. That's what I'll say for sure.
I think we might as well just get into what we don't like, and it would make a lot more sense as to how we feel about the movie.
You could go first. Go ahead.
Okay, I have many issues. Where do I even begin? I'll go with the most prominent one that literally made me have to watch this in 2 sittings.